therapists, specifically like trauma specialists, talk about a thing called glimmers, and it's the opposite of triggers. So, triggers is what makes us upset, makes us think of the trauma, the depression, the suffering, the pain, whatever it is. And the glimmer is that little glimmer of hope that is amongst the darkness that you're going through. And Spirit wanted me to focus on that, and talk about it a little bit more, that we need to really look at the precious little moments in our life that we still have, even when we're in the depths of it. There are still so many beautiful, precious moments that only when you're present will you notice. And like, if it's not even like an encounter with a person, it could literally just be the sun pouring down on your face. And first you have to get outside for that, which I never did when I was struggling, but it made such a difference when I went outside. And when I did, and I was going through my really bad, having a really bad day, and depressed, and just like in the darkness, in a fat mood, just feeling like empty, feeling like I was nothing, the sun would shine on me, and it would just fill me up with this radiance. And I was feeling empty, but then the sun filled me up with its light and with its energy, and I felt love. As weird as that might sound for some of you, I actually felt love in that moment of being filled up by the sun's energy, even when no one was physically there to give me love. Nature came in, like it always does, and came in to show me that I was still loved and that I was always going to be saved. Because there were definitely moments where I thought I was never going to get out of it, and that I was going to be stuck forever. But these little glimmers kept me going. These little sparks of hope in my day-to-day, the more I focused on that, the more they grew, the more they started happening, because I started noticing them more. And my whole experience changed after that, and that's really what helped me heal. It wasn't denying that I was depressed, it was admitting that I was, and focusing on something beautiful in that moment and in that day, even if it was just one little tiny thing, like, oh, the sun was shining today, but I took that as a glimmer. And it's like, it filled me, like nature fills me up even when nothing else could. And it was beautiful that it's just like these simple things that can make you feel joy in the depths of your darkness. Like, we really need to go back to the basics, really, really simple things, back to nature, the sun, the breeze blowing on your face, seeing a butterfly flutter past, all of these little tiny things. And those little things, it starts there, and then you'll notice how the universe starts showing you more and more of those things. Not because they weren't there before, but because you didn't have the awareness placed on them. And you had the awareness in your head, and in your depression and in your darkness and in your suffering. Everything seemed so bland and boring and useless and meaningless. You couldn't see the beauty that was all around you. Not because it wasn't there, it's just your attention wasn't placed there. And Spirit wants to make that very clear, that you always, no matter how dark it gets, you always have the chance to pull yourself out and see the beauty in the world around you. Because nature, even if like people aren't showing you in the moment, that nature is always there to show you how beautiful it is. And the sun is not always shining, but it will eventually come in and shine on you, and you can let that fill you. When you've got nothing else to fill you, I promise you the sun will. Nature will always show up in some way to fill you up and to fill your cup. And that's what the biggest message from Spirit was that I channeled today, was like, we really need to get back in touch with nature, which is like, yeah, I heard that before, but it's actually really, really important. And it's really just important where we're placing our attention. And what they're saying, it's like people who believe in angel numbers, when they put their awareness on angel numbers, people will see angel numbers everywhere. But for someone else who doesn't really see it as anything, doesn't really see the point or the meaning in it, they won't see 1111 every day. Or maybe they will, but they won't notice it. And it really depends on where your energy's at, where your attention is placed. And Some people might say, oh, people see angel numbers because, maybe they check their phone every hour. Or maybe it's a phenomenon that, you are really, where you place your attention is where you place your energy, and you create more of that experience. So placing your attention on your depression and your bitterness and your anger and your hatred and your trauma and your past, you can still go out and pretend to have a good time with your friends. You can still sit there and put a fake smile on your face like I did, but you'll never be happy when you've got that focus and you've got your attention on the depression. And you really have to shift your focus, and that's hard. That's really, really hard when you're in it deep. I'm not going to sugarcoat it like so many other speakers. Just shift your focus. Just get over it. Just change it. Just change your perspective. Like, it's hard. And that's why I'm saying, like, really just start on the small little things like, oh, look at that, the sun is shining. Like, isn't that beautiful? Start there, and it will start growing from there. And putting our focus on the glimmers, not the triggers, and not on the trauma and the pain and the suffering, as hard as that is, because it almost becomes a habit where you're always going back to it and you're always thinking about it. But really focusing on just like the tiniest little thing that lights up your day. And if a person can't give you that glimmer of hope, step outside and nature will give it. That is the message. And the other day I did it. I went outside and I was seeing the sun shimmering and glistening on the water. That was my glimmer for the day. No one said that they loved me. No one was there for me to talk about my problems. It was just the sun shining on the water, and that was my glimmer for the day. And that was slowly expanded into more and more things, because, that day it wasn't a person or a job. Nature will always give you a glimmer, even if nothing else will. And when you put your attention there, you put your attention on the glimmers instead of the triggers, you attract more glimmers, and they become bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's how I have shifted my perspective. I didn't shift it in one night. It was a very, very slow process of seeing the sunshine one day and going, oh, that's my glimmer, that's kind of lame. And then it slowly expanded and got more and more because I kept focusing on it, and it gets bigger. It does expand, because that's literally where your attention goes, energy flows. You need to keep your energy and your attention on the glimmers, not the triggers and the pain and the trauma and the suffering. As hard as that is, keep bringing it back to the glimmers. And you attract more glimmers, and it gets to this point where it's not just sun shimmering on a lake. It's a person that says that they love you. And it's a friend that's sitting with you and willing to hold you, willing to hold space for you, willing to listen to you and what you're going through. And then it's, when you're deep in depression, you feel like nothing could possibly make you laugh, and then all of a sudden someone's making you laugh. This is all the signs of like these glimmers slowly getting bigger and bigger. That at first for me it was just looking at the sun and looking at the water and being in nature, and then slowly I started seeing it in the people around me, because in the moment I didn't have much support, and that's what made it so hard. But I kept focusing on these little tiny little things that ended up being really, really big things, and I was attracting so many more glimmers than triggers into my life, and that's how I changed my experience. And what else did they want me to say? It was like, they wanted, the reminder is that like your whole day will not be a glimmer, your whole day will not be happy and sunshine and rainbows, but it will get to a point where there is more glimmer than sadness, and there will be more love and more joy bit by bit. And you, just by focusing on those small glimmers, they start presenting themselves to you, and then you watch them expand over your entire life experience. And there's a point where you will smile and it won't be fake anymore. And there is a point where you will wake up in the morning and actually be happy that you're alive. And not every morning, but some mornings you're going to get up and you're going to actually jump out of bed, and you're going to look back and go, oh my God, I'm so bloody proud of myself, because remember where I was when I didn't even want to get out of bed in the morning. And I promise you will get to that point. Spirit just keep saying, like, keep focusing on those little glimmers, and they'll get bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's how you shift your perspective. That's how you change your entire life experience, is you slowly will get to a point where you're waking up and you're happy and content and at peace with where you are, at peace with your experience, and you're not plagued by that darkness and that depression anymore. It will not hold you forever. I just want to make that very, very clear, that I am living proof of that. It will not be forever. Even when you're in it and it feels like it will, and even when people tell you, oh, it doesn't last forever, and you're like, shut up, yes it does. I know how you feel, but you'll get to a point where you'll look back and you'll go, wow, look at how far I've come. And I'm so proud of myself for sticking it out and getting through it, because I was stuck in this pit that I never thought I'd get out of. And now I'm out. And now I'm actually looking around at my life and thinking how great everything is, and seeing the people that love me and cherish me and value me. And I'm outside in nature and I'm soaking up that sun, and I'm diving the ocean, and I'm finding things every single day to snap me back to the present, snap me back to that feeling of being alive. Because in this world, it's so easy for us to forget that simple feeling of feeling alive. That's what the focus needs to be. And when you're deep in depression, when it's like you're literally stripped of life and energy and any enthusiasm, you got to do something that makes you feel alive that day, whatever it is. Even if it's jumping on a trampoline or doing something stupid like that, it's something that wakes you up and snaps you back to now, and that feeling of being alive and getting out of your head, because you will be stuck. You don't want to be stuck in your head because it's a mess up there. You got to get into your body, got to get into the feeling, got to get into nature, feel the breeze, feel the sun, feel the air, feel it all. Because that's what it's all about. It's about feeling alive. It's about being here and feeling it all, and not what the spiritual teachers are saying, that like, I'm just flatlining and I'm at peace and zen all the time. Like, no, let yourself go through the emotions and feel. You're an emotional being. You're an energetic being. Let that emotion move through you. You are allowed to feel it. I acknowledge you for that. I validate your feelings. I validate your experience, whatever you've been through. I feel you and I'm here with you. And I promise it will get better. I promise. And before I get all teary and cry, you really will get to a point where you just have this relief come over you, because the pain isn't that bad anymore. Like, it slowly starts fading away, and you do feel happiness again. I can promise you that. And it'll feel like a wave, like, just wash over you, of going like, oh my God, like, this is how I'm meant to feel. Like, I feel this wave of relief that, like, this pain and this depression didn't last forever like I told myself I would at the time. Like, it's finally over, and you're gonna feel so much joy and bliss and love, and love and admiration for yourself for getting through it, because you're the one doing this. It's all you. You're getting through this on your own, and I promise you, when you look back, you're going to be so bloody proud of yourself. And you just, wherever you're at right now, just meet yourself there. Do not compare yourself to other people. That kept me stuck for so long, because I was like, it's like, that's their story, that's for them. Like, I'll never get there. I'll never be happy like them. I'll never get love like them. Whatever those stories are, we really need to push it aside and just focus on your experience. Focus on the glimmers that are showing up in your experience, because they always are. And if it's not a person, nature will give it. That is the message from Spirit. Go out in nature, get outside and feel it. Keep your attention there on the glimmers, as small as they are, and they will expand more and more until your whole life is filled with heaps of little glimmers. And when those triggers do come, you're not as affected by it. And yeah, like, I still cry all the time. I cried yesterday, I cried the day before, and I still keep my eyes on the glimmers, keep my eyes on the love, and I let myself feel the pain and the suffering. I do not suppress it and say, no, I'm spiritual now. No, I'm 100% healed. I'm not allowed to feel this anymore. because you're never 100% healed as a human. You're not. You're always going to be going through stuff. You're always going to feel emotion, and you have to let yourself feel it instead of following what, you know, so many other people are saying. That's the opposite of that. I'm meeting you where you're at, wherever you are. Let yourself feel it and move through it, because there's so much bliss and happiness and joy that you will get on the other side. And I'm speaking from experience that you will not be stuck in this forever. Just focus on the little glimmers and you'll make it out, I promise. Just sending you guys so much love. I'm going to make more videos on this because it's so important to talk about this mental health space in a proper way for people to actually resonate and relate with it, instead of me acting like I'm above you guys and acting like I'm above it all. Like, I'm going through it with you, and we're all going through healing journeys together, and none of us have it 100% all figured out. None of us are 100% healed. Even the enlightened ones, even the ones pretending to be all zen all the time, they're going through stuff as well, and we're all just here to show up for each other. We're all just here to bring each other home. And I hope that this video helped you. And yeah, just wherever you're at, just keep going is my message, because that happiness will come back, and the light does always come back, and it's actually always here. It's always within you. And that might sound too ridiculous for some of you who are really stuck in it right now, but you'll be able to look back one day and understand what I'm saying, that like the light is within you always, the beauty is within you always, and nature reflects that back to you always. So always be in nature. Always find time in your day to get out and see the beauty in the world, and you'll start seeing the beauty in yourself. I love you so much.